Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by Assistant City Manager John Fitzpatrick. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including items from city departments and things happening around Oshkosh. In the second half of the show, we'll highlight some items from the upcoming Tuesday, March 22nd Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in Assistant City Manager John Fitzpatrick. And John, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
All right, well, we have a lot to cover today, a lot of different things. One thing that we've heard a lot of information about recently is that there have been some changes to the rules regarding absentee ballots and how they're returned, mainly that drop boxes can no longer be used. So Election Day is coming up on Tuesday, April 5th, but the drop box at City Hall can no longer be used for those absentee ballots.
Right. It was my understanding, because we use our drop box for a whole variety of different things, it wasn't specifically designated for absentee ballots only. Mm-hmm. We went and sought further opinions on whether or not it would be something that could be continued, and unfortunately, for the convenience of our citizenry, it cannot. So we just wanted to get that information out to people ahead of the April 5th spring election. But there are a lot of different other options that we have available to accommodate the citizenry for absentee ballots.
Right. So the voter can actually return their absentee ballot to the city clerk's office on the first floor of City Hall during business hours.
Absolutely, and we call it in-person absentee ballots. And for those people that maybe traveling out of town, maybe get into someplace warmer in these unpredictable days of weather right here in Wisconsin, that's going to start March 22nd, and it's going to run all the way until April 1st. So you can come in, you get an absentee ballot, you fill it out right there in front of the clerk, and then you hand it right back to the clerk.
Sometimes that's referred to as the early voting.
Right. They seal it, and you can take care of it that way. And actually, it isn't really a very busy time, so that's something that citizens may want to consider.
Right. And if an individual did receive an absentee ballot at home and they need to return it, they could submit it through the U.S. mail, or they could return it in person to the clerk's office, but it needs to be the individual who the voter who cast the ballot needs to return that same ballot in person.
Absolutely. Another option, is my understanding, is as long as it's that individual themselves, they can also return it at their polling place on Election Day.
That's correct. Right. And just so that folks know, there's a complete list of frequently asked questions from the city clerk's office, and that is posted on the city's website regarding absentee ballots and some of the recent rule changes. And the clerks also would like to inform the public that they should check the website myvote.wi.gov to locate their polling place, as many of those polling places, the districts have changed.
Yes.
And so it's a good idea to find that out and just verify your polling place.
It is, and also, for those folks that may not be able to check the website, they can certainly call the clerk's office anytime that it's convenient for them during business hours. And their telephone number is 920-236-5011.
Okay, very good. Well, another sort of hot topic lately in Oshkosh, we're getting into road construction season. That's a good sign of spring.
It is.
And a big sign of spring is High Avenue is closed, at least for 3 weeks. And so this closure is all part of that Algoma Boulevard reconstruction. John, what else can you tell us about that?
Well, I think people understand, since we've reevaluated how we do our construction projects, we take a whole variety of things into account. It's not just the surface pavement, it's the sanitary sewer, it's the water mains, it's the storm sewers that are underneath the roadways. So we kind of take a look at kind of a three-dimensional assessment of all of our projects and try to schedule them in a way which allows us to, get the best bang for our buck for the citizenry, so we can try to improve all those systems all at once. And I know that people have been waiting a long time for us to improve those roadways down by the university.
Why does it take so long for some of these projects?
Well, for this particular project specifically, people may not know that the university has a variety of HVAC systems that also run under the roadway. And they were working to try to improve some of those systems for quite some time, because with multiple breakdowns, then that would mean that there would have to be digging in the new roadways. So we didn't want to reconstruct those roadways until we had a better feeling about the idea that they wouldn't get torn up because there needed to be some sort of HVAC repair.
The heating system.
Right, in order for the university to heat and take care of their other buildings. So it's taken a period of time. We believe that most of those issues hopefully will be behind us, and it's certainly something that needs to be done. And the university's been a great partner with us for a long time, and we want that area to look and be as traveled as easily as possible, and look as good as it possibly can. So it's been a long time, but I think it's once this construction season is over, it's really going to be nice. It'll be a big improvement.
Right. And just to recap some of those closures, High Avenue will be closed at the intersection of High and Vine, and also at High between Rockwell and Osceola. So Algoma Boulevard from Osceola to West New York will temporarily have two-way traffic. So just be cognizant that there's now two-way traffic in some of those areas.
I think we have the details again on our website.
That's right.
And I think if people want to sign up for email updates, they can do that too.
That's right.
They can do that on our website. And so yeah, it's going to be a long project. It probably won't be completely finished until Thanksgiving. But it'll be something to be thankful for when it's all done. That's for sure.
Right. And the next phase will involve closure of Vine Avenue between High and Algoma. So we'll pass along more information as this whole project progresses.
We will, and I think they've done a really nice job with the signage. There's a lot of sandwich boards that are right there on the intersection in the terraces for people to take a look at while they're driving too, because sometimes it's difficult to remember what you might have researched online. So we're trying to make it as navigable as possible.
Okay. All right. Well, speaking of the motoring public, some folks have noticed that there have been some changes, some construction development underway by the Fox River, kind of close to Jackson Street. And just a point of curiosity, so this is a new development that is quite the investment.
It is. It's really the first phase of what's planned to be a three-phase development. In this particular phase, it's called Maxon Corners, and there'll be a 4-story, 74-unit apartment that's going to be located there.
Looks beautiful on the rendering.
Yeah, it does look beautiful, and there's going to be underground parking. I think there'll be also 50 surface levels parking spaces there, and I believe it's supposed to be completed this fall. For old timers like me, Andy, I can recall what that area looked like not too many years ago. It was a pretty industrialized area.
Very industrial.
There was some concrete activity that was going on down there. There was the Lamico factory. There was, the old Triangle Tavern was down there. Not that it wasn't a bad spot, but I think this is an improvement to what was in that area. And I know our planners currently and in the past, just done a fantastic job of reclaiming our waterfront and really revitalizing areas that were industrialized and now are just much more livable and an opportunity for us to enjoy the water a little bit more, which is the namesake of our community. So
Right, a lot more residential downtown, and now there's the food co-op is downtown
Right.
to service those people.
right, we want to, it's important if you want to have a vibrant downtown, you have to provide the opportunity for people to live in that area, walk in that area, as you mentioned, be able to get their groceries in that area. There's health care now that's available there, so it just makes it a richer experience for everyone, not only just for entertainment, but a whole variety of things that people can enjoy downtown. So it's another example of an exciting development in that area.
Very good. Also downtown, there's a renovation that's planned for the Oshkosh Transit Center, and that renovation is scheduled to begin on Monday, March 28th. So they'll be doing some changes down there as well.
Right, and it's really a great segue. We talked about mobility for people downtown, the walkability, but also public transportation is something that we're very proud of here at the City of Oshkosh, and our transit operators, everybody that works in the transit department does a great job. They're really our ambassadors for a lot of people that visit the community, as well as people that utilize it on a daily basis. And part and parcel with the improvements downtown, having an updated transit center, I think is really going to be a nice amenity, for those people to access.
We're taking a look at the current transit center right here. And there's some advantages of what the new updated center will be like.
Right. The platform, the surrounding area is going to be rehabbed. They're going to replace some pavers on the platform. There's some concrete there that's in some pretty rough shape. They're going to improve the lighting and just beautification efforts in that area. So I think it'll be a little safer.
And the transit operators never had an area for taking a break.
That's right. People, I don't think, realize what long hours our transit operators work. They're really extended hours beyond what a normal workday would be, just so they can, manage those routes and get to everybody from the time frames that we have established service. So it will be nice for them to have this break area so they can take their lunch breaks.
Sure.
So that'll be a nice little feature. I think that there's going to be a supervisor office that's going to be included in there in case we need to access that. And I think a customer service window is going to be added too, Andy, isn't it?
That's right. That's correct. And a lot of that work is illustrated on this map showing just to the north of the existing structure. That's where a lot of this new facility will be.
Right.
So and during this period of time, those buses will be parked at different locations there alongside, so there'll be a little bit of a change for the riders, but it'll be temporary until this is all complete.
Right, and it's my understanding that the shelter is going to continue to be closed until all this construction is complete, just to make sure that it's safe for the citizenry in that area.
That's right. And just a reminder that masks are still required on GO Transit through April 18th. Stay tuned for any changes on that date. But this affects all modes of transportation, not just GO Transit, and this is a federal rule.
It is. It's my understanding that the feds are looking at their requirements for masking on a continuous basis, but in order to try to make it uniform for all the traveling public, not only transit, but I think air travel and a variety of other travel that's federally funded, they still have that mask mandate in place.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, changing gears a little bit here, there recently was an incident where one of the pump stations for the city's sanitary sewer system was blocked for 80% blocked.
Yeah.
And so this raises the issue that that blockage was due mostly in part by people flushing material like wet wipes. And those things, even though they're marketed as flushable, they're really not.
They really aren't, and I think they're becoming more and more popular, and I think, you know, the public takes the vendor's word for it that it is flushable, but we just want to make sure that people know that it can cause damage in the blockages, and I think people might wonder, well, why is this important to me? The reason it's important to the citizenry is if these blockages occur, it could result in basement sewage backups in residents' homes. So, and we certainly don't want that. I know, you know, we wouldn't want our neighbors to have a backup. So, just the use of these are, if it's not necessary for it to be done, you know, it's something that people should really just be aware of.
Right, right. And there is more information on the city's website about this topic.
Right.
And so folks can access that through, I believe that there's a hot topic about it, and more information about how folks should be proactive and not flush some of those items.
Right.
And kind of help everybody out.
Yep.
So, all right, another kind of back to motorists and some things coming up around Oshkosh. There are some bridge inspections that are planned, and my understanding is that these bridge inspections are not going to be cause full closures of the bridges, but it rather will just be some lane restrictions.
Right. There's maintenance assessments that take place on our bridges all the time, and it's just something that is, I mean, we love the beauty of the water, and the bridges can sometimes be a source of frustration for people with the boating public, but they are very beautiful, and part of that requires us to make sure that they're maintained properly and safe. So it's just something that comes with it's part of the deal. And so this maintenance is just routine. It's my understanding that they're going to be taking a look at the Wisconsin Street Bridge and also Oregon-Jackson. And I think is it April 4th, Andy?
Monday, April 4th, that's correct.
Taking a look at that.
Wisconsin Street in the morning and Oregon-Jackson Street in the afternoon. And there's also a workshop we'll be talking about a little bit later, but a workshop meeting for the council talking more about that Oregon-Jackson Street Bridge as well.
Right.
Okay. Another item that we wanted to pass along is that some community development block grant funding is available, and those applications for those funds are available through the city's website, and that funding is for public service projects.
Right. Yeah, it's my understanding the application deadline is March 28th, and people can just get more information from the Hot Topics page.
That's right. Website. And there must be a direct benefit for low to moderate income residents of Oshkosh, but that funding is there, and we encourage folks to
check it out,
take advantage of it. Okay. One other thing, we're getting into that season where outdoor activities are becoming more popular, and there is a new full year activity guide that the Oshkosh Parks Department has developed.
Right. It's really pretty neat. I had a chance to take a look at it. They have all the activities that they have planned, at least to this point, for the entire year in that guide. So if people want to take a look at it and plan accordingly, it's just a nice resource, I think, for people to dedicate some time to enjoying the parks and a lot of the programming that's being done in those parks. So a lot of really fun events that I think are family friendly and just varied for all kinds of interests. So we hope people take advantage of that and fully enjoy our beautiful parks that we have in the community.
Absolutely, and this is a new thing for the Parks Department, so I encourage folks to check it out.
Right, very cool.
Another virtual event that's coming up is on March 28th. We have the annual State of the City, and this is a video presentation that will debut on March 28th at 6 p.m.
It is. Yep. I know Oshkosh media staff have been working pretty hard on this. City Manager Roloff, the department's also supporting this. So I hope people set aside a little time to tune in and take a look at it. It'll give people an idea of what's going on, what we've been working on, what we're looking forward to, and it's always a good program to check out.
Right, and take a look at the Oshkosh Media Facebook page for more details about it. But it will be on March 28th, 6 p.m., and we encourage everyone to check it out and learn more about what's coming up and what's planned in the city of Oshkosh. All right, John, I believe that that's about the time that we have for the first half of the show today. So it's time to take a short break, and please stay with us for some highlights from the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm City Manager Mark Roloff. Join us for State of the City 2022, a special virtual event on our new date, Monday, March 28th. We'll update you on the progress that Oshkosh has been making and look forward to what's ahead. Following the presentation, we'll recognize some outstanding community members and groups who help make Oshkosh a great place. Please join us for this year's special virtual State of the City event, Monday, March 28th at 6 p.m. on Oshkosh Media's YouTube channel, Oshkosh Media Gov TV, or streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV devices. We hope you'll join us.
And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with Assistant City Manager John Fitzpatrick. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming March 22nd Oshkosh Common Council meeting. And John, the meeting will be starting off with a workshop session at 5 p.m. And this is, we alluded to this a little bit earlier, this is the workshop meeting about the Jackson-Oregon Street Bridge project.
Right, that's right, Andy. And for people that might have been keeping track of what was going on with that Jackson-Oregon Street Bridge, it was probably first discussed about almost 7 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And we talked a little bit on the first half of the program about our reclaiming the waterfront and from an old industrialized model in the past to more citizen-friendly enjoyment of the waterfront. And so before they went forward with any of the potential replacement of the bridge 7 years ago, I think cooler heads prevailed. We worked with the DOT. They were a really great partner of ours. And ultimately it was decided that until that waterfront is a little more developed, so we can decide what would be the best match for what's going to be placed in those areas along the water, maybe we should just pump the brakes on this bridge project. And that was 7 years ago. Now it's been a little bit more developed. We have some good ideas about what is being developed down in the water that we talked a little bit about in the first half of the program. So I think it's a good time for us to revisit this, to try to make plans before it's actually scheduled to be built in 2028.
Right. So, and just a side note that there will also be a Department of Transportation workshop on April 4th, a virtual public info session coming up. So stay tuned for more information about that, and Oshkosh Media will be recording that and airing that as well.
And passing on information when we get it, right?
Absolutely. All right. Under our consent agenda, we have an item. We are declaring an end to the emergency for the city of Oshkosh for the COVID-19 situation.
Right. I think we're all pleased to be able to get to this point. We still have some things that we have to keep an eye on, but curiously enough, it's almost 2 years to the day, Andy. I think it was declared March 18th in 2020.
March 18th.
So the county's risk is now listed as low, and hopefully we can continue to improve as we go forward.
Okay. And later in the consent agenda, we have actually quite a list of special events coming up. It's kind of that season. And just in particular, one of them is the Oshkosh Police Department is having their law enforcement mental health and wellness 5K on September 10th. So a lot of different events coming up.
There are, and it signals spring, which we're all excited to experience. And this is really a good event that has been taking place for quite some time for OPD, and we hope people support it if they can.
Absolutely, right. And also stay tuned to Oshkosh FM 101.9 for the events calendar that comes up every so often, and you can find out what's going on in Oshkosh.
September 10th, right?
Okay, September 10th for the OPD law enforcement 5K. Absolutely. All right, under our pending ordinances, the Sawdust District has an item on the agenda for a zone change.
Right, and there's actually another new resolution, a companion piece that goes with this.
Okay.
But it's really about the T-wall development in the Sawdust District. We talked about some of the development that was taking place with Maxon Corners off of Jackson there, and this is just about a block east of that, kind of in that area on the other, across the bridge, across the Main Street Bridge, and in the Sawdust District there. So this is very exciting, and it's a multi-million-dollar project, in the tens of millions, I believe. So there's a lot of development there where it's going to be a mixed-use project with some shopping, some place for people to reside as well. So it's very exciting to get that area moving forward.
Extension of the Riverwalk, I believe, is part of that.
Right, yeah.
Might even be a dog park or something there too. So a lot of different things.
No, it's exciting.
Yeah, there'll be quite a bit to watch with that.
Right.
Under our new resolutions, there's an item amending our capital improvements program, and it's my understanding that there are some items that can be accelerated because some funding has become available to the city.
That's right. Yeah, this is part of the infrastructure bill that was worked on at the federal level. So because we're going to be receiving some funding associated with that infrastructure bill, we're able to really accelerate 3 projects that we had on the shelf, which were, I think there's 2 projects in Washburn, and then 1 project also on Osborne that we're able to advance to the 2023 CIP. So we're very excited to get that going.
Sure.
You know,
we have a few maps that show some of those areas there.
Right. The sooner we can get that going, the better it can be for the traveling public. So.
Right. As soon as we're able to progress on those, we certainly will. Okay, and then there's also an item on the agenda regarding the Oshkosh Housing Needs Assessment and Strategy Plan, and there's been quite a bit of public input that's been involved in this whole process.
There has been. I really think Kelly Nyforth, our Community Development Director, and her staff have done a tremendous job seeking input from a whole variety of sources on this project, and the whole idea behind this is to try to establish varied options for our community in regard to housing moving forward. So if you haven't had a chance to participate, please tune in, take a look at what's going to be discussed. But also, I think the document is available or will be available shortly on the website. So
that's correct. Right. So that study is posted there, and folks can learn more about it, and even offer input regarding the study.
Right.
Okay. Well, John, thank you for your insights today, and we appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
All right, and thank you for joining us today. Again, that Oshkosh Common Council meeting is at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, March 22nd at City Hall, 215 Church Avenue. You can watch it live on GovTV, which is Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen to it on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online, and on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. You can use your favorite streaming device, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. Just search for the Oshkosh Media app and you can stream our programming. Again, join us in 3 weeks for another City Managers Report. Thanks for watching.